comrade, let's look at, for clarity purpose, and for those who are listening to you now, because each time we see a discussion or a roundtable talk between Labour and the government, what you hear on the headlines is Labour talk with government deadlocked. So help us itemize what specific demands that Labour is making at the moment, and which one has government been able to meet and which ones are still pending?
Well, when you hear of deadlock, that means there was no agreement, from both parties. And for the past 4 months now, we have been discussing on issues, especially consequences coming out of, the increase in pump price of petroleum products. Now, then we're asking them to reverse it. And all of them were saying, no, we're going to work on palliatives. We're going to work on wages. In fact, one of our old comrades say, Ajaero, go and negotiate wages. And now they blackmailed us into the issue of, negotiating palliatives and wages. And then we started talking, and they gave us promise that within 8 weeks, implementation will start. There was the issue of cash transfer, and those Nigerians that have the lowest income brackets, and those that are not doing anything. And we were supposed to have assessed the number. While they were thinking of 50-something million, we were telling them to take the record from the Bureau of Statistics, which was talking about 133 million Nigerians being multidimensionally poor. We are still discussing on that. No cash transfer has taken place. We have not even gotten the statistics, or the data on those who fall within this income bracket. Now, we were talking about other palliatives. We're talking about CNG or electric, battery-driven buses. The federal government was supposed to bring, to make transportation easier. Because if you watch the major attack, the major effect of this subsidy removal is mode of transportation. It is difficult for you to fill a tank of your car now with less than 50,000 naira. And if you go to work and come back for 1 week, that will be off. And we're talking of a period where the minimum wage is still 30,000. And then you'll be spending close to 50,000 in a week to fill a tank. Now, we talked about wage awards, which they are mixing up to call them a minimum wage. Now, the issue of wage award is to look at what could be, an intervention payment in the payment of workers. There have been series of wage awards in this country. The first was Dodge's Award, which was clear. Now, the last one was even in January, February this year, when President Buhari now gave 40% of wage award to certain class of public servants as a result of the effect of COVID-19. Now, these are different from minimum wage, because the minimum wage goes with the law. There's a minimum wage law, which will expire next year. And when we negotiate that one, it will go to Parliament for them to enact a law along that direction. On all these grounds, none has been fulfilled. There is even no serious and consensuous conversation around these issues and around these demands. So that makes it, makes the level to look at it from the point of view that there is no seriousness attached to it. Ordinarily, any conscious administration will first of all look at the consequences of even increasing the price of bread. I bet you in some countries of the world, if you increase the price of bread with this percentage from 185 to 500, and later within some weeks to 600 and something, people have been in the streets. They're all over. But now they did it, almost over 200% increase. And then they're telling us to adjust to suffering, adjust to poverty, and adjust to debt. It doesn't add up.
Now, some of the issues you raised